Good evening, Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans. Welcome once again to another fantabulous edition of the Front Row Fanatics. I'm the Gargoyle with my tag team partner,
Cheech.
Yeah, that's right, baby. We're getting ready to do a review of CSW, Culture Shock Wrestling's Unleashed, that took place July 23rd, 2011 at the House of Hardcore in Mossy Head, Florida. And with that being said, I'm tagging into my partner. Take it away, Cheech, baby.
I'd like to start out by saying that the crowd was a little bigger than what it has been in the past, so hopefully that the word's getting out for CSW. I know there was a few people that kind of came, not with us, but we knew they were coming that haven't been there before and really did enjoy the show. So hopefully we can get this word out and keep building the crowd of CSW, because it really is a great, great show. They did start out the show of the evening with Cameron Frost coming out, letting the fans know that due to the injury that he, I believe he actually said the one he got at the SWA show.
Absolutely, the knee.
Yeah, and he was going to relinquish or surrender, in his words, the CSW heavyweight title. And mentioning that because CSW is such a competitive company, he's not going to be, in his words, again, a punk ass about it, just going to go ahead and let them go and do their thing and have this battle royal. The guy let the boys do the battle royal, and the last four left would be the contenders for the CSW heavyweight title. So, you know, he let everybody know that was going to go on that night, which it did, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the first match of the evening, after that little beginning promo, was the Story of the Year Brian Cage, who is the Formula One champion, CSW, versus somebody I haven't actually seen before, Street Bandit, which he's been there before, been other places, and been a lot of other places on the Gulf Coast. I just personally have never seen him, which I enjoyed it. He was supposed to go up against Cameron Thomas, though, but due to an injury with Cameron Thomas, he couldn't be there, so...
you mean from that ass whooping he took from Kobe Godwin when Kobe snatched that ultimate Sterling strap from him, I guess. I don't know, Cameron, you know I'm yanking your chain, bud. If you got some, you got a little comeback for us, hey, talk to us, brother. Front Row is all about equal time for everybody.
That's right. So, but he couldn't make it, and it started out to Street Bandit come out. Started out with a chop to Gargoyle to get the crowd intensity going.
Yeah.
That was a good way to start the show. These guys actually put on a great match. I mean, it was a good team up. They worked well together, and it was real exciting. He tried to, throughout the match, and I don't want to cut too much from it, we can talk about it in a minute, but throughout the match, Brian Cage grabbed the handcuffs that Street Bandit carries out to the ring with him and tried to use them on him, and that backfired, and basically ended up in almost a double count out once it backfired, and it was almost, I thought for sure it was going to be a count out. I think they got up at like maybe 8.5 or 9 count and got up. But they did go back and forth for quite a bit, and you've seen Street Bandit in several
this is true. For me, this is really tough because Street Bandit and I have a little mortal enemy thing going back and forth for a lot of years. And then you've got Brian Cage, who it's no secret that I have no love for Brian Cage. Two guys whose guts I really hate, but choosing the lesser of two evils, I'm going for the Bandit because he's a CSW, a Mossy Head, House of Hardcore, original guy. Linda, where were you, baby? For the first time in my life, I ever cheered for the Street Bandit, and you weren't there to witness it. So, I got out there, and like you said, the crowd was a little bigger this time there at CSW, being the crazy bastard I am. Chop me, Bandit, chop me. I wanted to get it going, and Bandit obliged with a serious good chop to my chest. The crowd got fired up, and like I said, two guys who normally I wouldn't cheer for either one of them, but they got out there and they got after it, and they put on a really good match to start the show off there in CSW and get the crowd fired up. and, you know, pumped up and amped up, and, you know, unfortunately, Brian Cage, he got the win, so, you know, but I'm sure, hopefully, Bandit will get a rematch and,
yeah,
get some revenge.
Now after that, the count out, they both did get up. The Street Bandit saying, "You're trying to use my cuffs. I'm going to use your belt." Tried to use the belt as a weapon on him, which Cage ducked it out and finished him off with basically a swinging neck breaker slam type move, which I'm not sure what he calls it, but it was over for 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's got some bullshit Brian Cage name. No, the final take. That's what he called that.
Yeah, that's right.
I got some final take for us to take out Chinese down the road, baby. You know, so.
Yeah, but definitely going to get one of those make crew bleed T-shirts he's got.
No, make Cage bleed. I will give props to Brian Cage about that. I dog the man a lot, but recently he's launched a Brian Cage merchandise site there. Got a multitude of T-shirts, hoodies, Huggies, women's panties, all kinds of stuff. And I will give him credit for being a smart businessman, because not only does he cater to the people that like him, he caters to the people that hate his guts like me, because he sent me a personal email. Gargoyle, I got a Make Brian Cage Bleed t-shirt that you can get. So, Brian Cage, I'll give you 2 thumbs up and a good clap there for being a smart businessman and hitting all aspects of your fan base, those that hate you and those that love you, for merchandising, man. Smart move by Brian Cage.
That's right, and as you said, he did end up getting the win, keeping the Formula One championship, and you know, he did cut a promo, I think it was at the beginning of the match, basically stating that he's going to be the only one to be the Formula One and win the CSW heavyweight title.
Triple Crown winner, some kind of bullshit. It ain't happening.
He's going to do it.
That's all I got to say. I'm calling bullshit.
So we'll see what happens, and that's actually, we'll get to that a little bit later too, but that's going to be coming up at August 27th for the 10 Years of Mayhem show. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You certainly don't want to miss that. Match number 2 of the evening comes up with the members of the Crusade, Michael Desad and Mike Fresca versus DJ Durst and JT Angel, and with Busty Becky Kennedy at ringside.
Initial shot.
And I was going to say the initial shot. I wasn't sure if that was Durst and JT or somebody else.
Well, they've also had Jesus. Now I'm having a brain fart here. I'm drinking some PBRs right here, baby tall boys. Homage to my friends in South Florida, the Highwaymen, Mark Mandrick, Butch Long, Donnie York, Star Stevens, and the hardcore hottie Ferrari, baby. This PBR is for you. But damn, I can't. My boy Shockey, Extreme G is the third member. Yeah. Sorry, G, not trying to diss you, bro. I'm drinking beer and I forgot,
But even Becky got in some action on this match, and I want to say it was a DDT of some sort or some sort of
busty Corona, baby.
That's it. And but this match went back and forth. You know, there was a lot of action in this match too. And part I remember was Desad pushed. And this was towards the end of the match where Desad pushed DJ into JT and knocked him off the ring apron, which, you know, he was kind of stunned and not really sure exactly what was going on. But then he came in with the neck, or Desad came in with the neck breaker on DJ, and then the legal man in the ring was actually Fresca, who came in for the 1, 2, 3 pin on him. But JT wasn't happy. You know, he wasn't, like I say, he wasn't really sure what had happened. All he was assuming was that DJ turned on me, maybe, possibly, you know, which, you know, he wasn't excited about the outcome of the match, and I think this is going to result in, which he went in there and did something to him. I don't know if he DDT'd him or slammed him, but this could possibly be leading into a match at Mayhem for these two, or Initial Shock breaking up, possibly, or at least these two.
Right, or these two members of Initial Shock splitting, leaving Extreme G and DJ Durst to keep Initial Shock together, but Michael Desad came out and basically was telling JT, you've been a tag team champion, you've been a U.S. champion at CSW. Basically, why are you toting around the dead weight or whatever? Yeah. JT Angel turned on DJ Durst, you know, commenced to give him the beat down on there. He left the ring, the Crusade left the ring, and, you know, who knows what's going to happen. Like you said, start of a feud between JT Angel and DJ Durst. Whose side is Busty Becky going to be on? That's another thing to think of. You know, by the way, Busty Becky has some swank, sexy Busty Becky photos you can buy wherever she appears. I got one, even though my wife didn't like him. Woo! That's all I got to say to that.
Definitely get you one of those, because they are some good photos.
And they do go fast.
But who knows? We'll see, and you know, be there at the 10 Years of Mayhem show, and we'll see what leads to that. Third match of the evening is some Baron von Lechter, which I don't want to say he's a newcomer, but he's just getting back into the scene, I guess you can say, at least at CSW. But Baron von Lechter versus a newcomer, Darius Kane. This match, it was, I don't want to say it was a little off, but it just didn't draw me in as close as I'm used to at CSW. But this Darius Kane is going to be one heck of a wrestler here. He showed some really good, you know, his performance was well, he was hitting it well. I think if he keeps going with what he's got and keeps working hard at it, keeps his head straight, don't fall into some of these other trails that some of these other guys may go,
right.
He's going to be a future Gulf Coast superstar. What do you think about that?
I will agree with you. An impressive debut for Darius Kane here on the Gulf Coast and at CSW. Now, Baron von Lechter, he's been a guy that's been around off and on for many years at CSW through their various incarnations as UPW, HPW, UHPW. He's here for a while, he disappears, he comes back, he's here for a while, he disappears. He seemed to have some conflicting emotions with Michael Desai telling him this is what you need to do, taking cheap shots or whatever. But, you know, like you said, I believe an impressive debut for Darius Kane, and I'm looking forward to seeing his next match, who he's pitted against at the House of Hardcore. So, you know, I enjoyed it. You know, not the best technical match. You know, well, one guy's debut against a veteran, you know, with conflicting emotions. Still entertaining nonetheless, but I definitely give Darius Kane a 2 thumbs up for your debut match here at CSW.
Yeah, and Baron von Lechter did get the win on that, but real interested in seeing where Darius Kane's career does go, because it definitely drew me in and wanting to see more of him. So I look forward to that, and hopefully we'll even see him at more promotion or other promotions on the Gulf Coast as well. I wish him well with that. So. And now Baron von Lechter, you know, he's got that evil pork chop in his corner, so that there's no.
I myself see some conflict developing there, because I think the Baron is not wanting to go for the cheesy way out that pork chop Desai there and the Crusader going. I think the Baron, you know, whether you like him or not, you know, he's got that German superiority complex, that he wants to dominate you and beat you down on his own merits without the cheap way out. So it'll be interesting to see how Baron von Lechter's attitude towards Michael Desai and the rest of the Crusade is, and against his opponents here in CSW in the near future. So
I agree, and we'll see again at 10 Years of Mayhem and see what they got in store for Baron von Lechter for
10 years, baby, 10 years.
It's a long time. That's a long time. I can't wait to see that show either. Match number 4 is it was a 4-way. I don't know if you call it a fatal 4-way, but nonetheless it was a 4-way that pitted up Chuck and Dales versus Jed Haney versus Chris Corbin versus Chaos. This match, some big men in here. Chuck and Dales, of course, Haney, and Corbin's a big man. Chaos, I don't think I've seen him before.
Yeah, we've seen him at IPW.
Okay,
when we were freezing our ass off there in February, man.
That's right. But actually, this was a pretty entertaining match for say what was it? I think Haney actually finished this match off with a headbutt to Chaos and 2 leg drops. I think is what it was to get the win on Chaos for the 1, 2, 3. This was all over the place, and they had a little bit of a, I don't know if you want to say superiority type argument at the beginning of who's going to do what. I think Haney tried to take control, and Chris Corbin was like, "Who the hell are you? You know, you don't run the show around here."
Thank you.
That started that off, you know, into it real quick. What was your favorite one of these 4 at this match?
For me, normally I would have been cheering for the Chuck and Dales there, man. The sexiest man alive.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, self-proclaimed sexiest man alive, you know. But the guy who impressed me the most out of this match was Chaos, because as I said, we've seen him in IPW and some various promotions, and I'll be honest, you know, I'm not one to blow smoke up anybody's ass. I was not too impressed with Chaos in his IPW matches and some other places I've seen him. But this last match here at CSW, he was on his game.
I thought so too.
He was crisp, he was clean, he was showing the best execution of moves amongst the 4 competitors in this match. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win, but to me, he impressed me the most out of the 4 competitors.
I'd have to agree. I really would have to agree. And as much as sometimes I hate watching Haney in the ring, and it's not because of his work, it's just, well, I think everybody knows why, or you know why, but he actually didn't do too bad in this match either. You know, he kind of did take charge, but Chaos definitely impressed me on here.
Well, here's what I got to say about that. Haney, get rid of the rule book, get rid of the blue boots and the Roots Fruity tights and all that stuff. Turn to the dark side, man. Turn to the dark side. Get evil. Get a mohawk. Go one-man gang or something, man.
Watch this Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just telling you, you need to change what you're doing because. And I'm not trying to be an ass, but what you got going on is not getting you over. I mean, you can watch the video, and I didn't even start the chant, but what was the crowd chanting? He sucks. Haney sucks. Haney sucks the whole time, you know. So, you know, which in one way is good because it shows you were getting the heat. But on the other hand, it shows the people are not digging what you got going on. Yeah. I believe you have some potential, but you definitely need a gimmick change, man. And I'm talking, get the mohawk with the one-man gang, Bam Bam Bigelow action, and go to the dark side, Haney. That's all I got to say.
That's right. That brings us up to match number 5 of the evening, which pitted up the last king of wrestling, Doug Pitt, versus T-Bird. This match for me was a good technical mat wrestling. They didn't really hit the ropes very much. It was in the middle of the ring, mat wrestling. Just really good technical moves for both of them. And I believe T-Bird is actually wearing different trunks, right?
Yeah, he's just now breaking down the tights. He was doing the Kid Cash thing for a while, you know, and now he's got into more traditional wrestling trunks. And to go along with the boots, change of look.
And I haven't seen him in a little bit either. I don't think he was at the last CSW.
No.
I think he had a baby or something.
Yes, he is a new father, and congratulations to T-Bird, your lovely wife, and your mom and dad out there, you know.
New grandparents.
That's right, proud grandparents. And the last time I believe we saw T-Bird was in the Funiac at a New Light show. But, you know, this was, like you said, a good match between 2 guys that can go. The one thing I enjoyed, I'm seeing Doug Pitt, he's getting back more into wrestling shape. Yes. And for me, and like I said, I call a spade or whatever you want to say. Doug Pitt suffered an injury. He put on some weight. You know, it was taking away from his in-ring abilities. He's getting back into better wrestling shape, and it's shown in every match that you watch him in a variety of promotions along the Gulf Coast. Yes. And I firmly believe that once Doug Pitt gets back to that lean, mean wrestling machine that he was, look out, baby, because he's fixing to take the Gulf Coast by storm.
Right, he can be the next one to go somewhere, and he really can, as long as he just, you know, gets back in it and trains and keeps up with it. So he actually finished off. They finished off the match with. I want to say a super kick, but what's he call that? Is it the ninja?
It's awesome. Where it is.
I don't know.
Ninja Turtle kick or something like that. But anyway, it was finished off with a super kick to T-Bird for the 1, 2, 3. Which, again, I enjoyed this match thoroughly. It was good to see a match where it wasn't, I mean, it was actually wrestling. You know, you don't see that every, you know, often, I guess.
Exactly, you know. Exactly.
But I think what we're going to do, if you don't mind, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a minute.
Get a fresh cold beer, gather our thoughts, and get ready for the next part of the show. So with that being said, we're taking a break.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I stand in front of a classic traditional tattoo parlor. This man here has helped me out more times than anybody else on my show. Pat here, he owns this tattoo shop here at 567 South Main Street. If you need any kind of tattoos done, come see Big Pat. He does great work. I've seen it myself. He's also got another guy here named Teron who does great work also. Like I said, 567 South Main Street. Come see this man, Big Pat.
Good evening, Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans. Welcome back to the Front Row Fanatics as we are continuing our review of CSW Culture Shock Wrestling's Unleashed that took place on July 23rd, 2011 at the House of Hardcore in Mossy Head, Florida. So with that being said, I'm going to tag into my partner, Big Daddy Cheech. Yeah. Oh, take it away.
Well, we left off with match number 5, which brings us to match number 6, which is none other than the Make Crew Bleed Challenge. $1,000 challenge, make crew bleed, you get $1,000, which pitted, of course, Victor Crew versus Desk Control, which I haven't seen before, but it was a great thing to be able to see this individual at CSW. Crew tells Desk Control at the beginning of the match that if Victor Crew was to win, that he needed to remove his mask, because Desk Control is a masked character. That if he was to win, he needed to remove his mask. So unfortunately, Victor Crew did get to win in this match, and Desk Control had to remove his match. But really, obviously, it's no secret that we're not a big Victor Crew fan. We want to see him bleed from here to whenever.
Book it with me. I will make that Weasley ass bitch bleed, man.
Right.
Come on, CSW manager. The Gargoyle can make Victor Crew bleed. I promise you.
Book it.
That's right. Book it, baby.
Even tried to throw in the crowbar.
Yeah.
It didn't even work.
Yeah, we even tried to offer up a crowbar for the match to Desk Control. And, but this match was really a good match. Desk Control is, I don't want to say a high flyer, but he's very flexible in the ring, and he really knows how to work the ropes. And these two just really worked well together, almost like a fine dance, in my opinion. Unfortunately, Crew didn't bleed, but the mask did get removed off of Desk Control. So he's going to be, from what I understand, he will now be unmasked at CSW from now on, which not sure how that's going to go. But,
or what he's calling himself or whatever,
but this really was a good matchup. I mean, I can't say enough about it to where, and you don't normally hear me say that, but I don't know if this, the style of Desk Control just meshed well with Victor Crew, or maybe Victor Crew's been training a little bit more than normal, or what it is. But it just worked for me. It was a really good match towards the end of the evening for CSW to put this on. It was really, really awesome. What did you think of Desk Control?
I hear you.
You've seen him a few
yes,
times.
he is a long-time veteran of wrestling in Mossy Head there, whether it's been called CSW, UHPW, HPW. He's been there off and on for a long, long time. And I'm like you, by no means I am not a Victor Crew fan. But just like I say with Brian Cage, I will say to Victor Crew, I always give credit where credit is due. Whether I like you or not, I'll give you your props. And once again, Victor Crew emerged victorious in the Make Crew Bleed Challenge. But for me, the highlight of this was seeing a new, reinvigorated Desk Control. Now, he hasn't been at CSW or Mossy Head in any incarnation in quite a while. He's had other issues going on, but he looked to be in the best physical condition that I've seen him in quite a long time. I was excited he got in there, put on a great match with Victor Crew. So I was excited. I was sad to see him lose the mask. You know, I'm from the mountain of eating. We've been to the dumpster behind Taco Bell, my brother, but, you know, you didn't get the Duke, but it was really a genuine pleasure for me to see Desk Control back more at the top of his game than I've seen him in the last few times, man. I give 2 thumbs up for him, man. You're looking good. You're physically in better shape. You and Victor Crew, Victor Crew put on a good match. You know, like I said, as much as I hate certain people, I will give credit where credit is due. Crew, once again, you won. Your forehead or nose or jibs has not been busted open, unless they book me. I can do it. But, you know, you're still maintaining that streak, and what more can I say? Nobody's made you bleed.
That's it. I can't think of you know, who he hasn't went up against, but maybe we need to start a poll of who we need to get into this promotion to that can make him bleed.
Book it, baby, right here. I'll make him bleed, hands down. I don't have no problem. I'll beat that boy and send him back to his mama.
Maybe we can make it more of an incentive to start a second collection of fans, cashola, to pay out to the person that does it. Maybe bring more of that need for it in or something. We'll have to help them figure it out.
I'll have to think and contemplate amongst my wrestling contacts. I might be able to think of somebody I could bring in to make Crew bleed.
That would be nice, but that really was a good matchup. That brings us up to match number 7, which pitted Gargoyle's close personal friend David Prime versus Lane Smart, who is Lane Smart has been a super nerd, and I think it was somebody else. It used to be what you said, Mike Metal, I think it was too. But these two guys, you know, David Prime is a longtime veteran in the business, and Lane Smart is just a big man,
He's a
powerful,
beast.
yes. And they actually went at it for quite a while. Prime, basically at the end, it was kind of, I almost didn't, well, I didn't see it coming, and I don't even think Lane Smart seen it coming, where he was just over top of him, and Prime grabbed him, scooped him up, rolled him over, and boom, boom, boom,
1, 2, 3, baby.
It was over. But these guys went pound for pound at each other for quite a while.
And you know, and to take nothing away from my close personal friend David Prime, Lane Smart dominated the majority of this match. He was putting a physical ass whooping on David Prime, but once again in the end, his veteran skills and abilities and mindset allowed him to get the win, you know, with Lane Smart gloating, thinking he had it done. 1, 2, 3, and if you watch the video on FrontRowFanatics.com, you'll see my close personal friend doing this right here, baby. It's not always who's the best. Mind over matter, and it don't matter, because 1, 2, 3, my close personal friend Dave Prime got the Duke, and that's all that counts.
Right.
Hail Prime, baby.
And Lane actually tried to pin him several times, and he just kept getting right up, and then he just, like you said, outsmarted him and got the pin. I mean, it hit me by surprise. I couldn't believe it. It was quick. You know, not the match in general, but the pin. It was boom, scoop, boom, turn him over.
David Prime is a bad man. You just don't know he's a bad man.
That's right. It's going to be even worse when he gets married next weekend.
Woo! Yeah.
But so that brings up match number 8, which was a tag match for the CSW Tag Team Champion, which pitted up the Onyx, who are the champions, Terry Allen Jones and Marcus Gibbs, versus the Sin City Saints, Scotty and Billy Rays. This match, you know, you got the speed of the Sin City Saints, and then you got the brawn power of Marcus and Terry Allen Jones. Actually was. They kept up pretty well and ended up, unfortunately, Billy tapped out with, I guess he would call it a single leg, like a grapevine submission type maneuver from Marcus Gibbs. I actually, in all honesty, was outside for this match.
Yeah, he was outside drinking in the parking lot. Don't let him lie to you.
But I did watch the footage of it, and it was a good match. You got the crowd going up too, getting ready for the main event. But you got the pound-for-pound hitting of the Onyx, who's just got brute strength, versus the speed of Billy and Scotty Rays. That just unbelievable. These two, you know, both of these two tag teams here. The Onyx teams up in other promotions around the Gulf Coast that they really do work well together.
And you know, the Sin City Saints have been a long-time staple of wrestling in Mossy Head through the various incarnations. The Onyx has been here for a couple of years. 2 real tag teams, which you don't see a lot of real tag teams anymore in the area, put on a great battle in a clash of 2 separate styles. The high-flying athleticism of the Rays brothers versus the ground and pound of the Onyx. You know, I give kudos to all 4 gentlemen in this match. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and kicked ass. The Onyx won, you know, much to the chagrin of most of the fans in CSW, where the Rays brothers are definitely prohibited favorites, but the Onyx retain the CSW tag team titles in a good match.
Yeah, that's right. I can't wait to see who they go up against at the 10 Years of Mayhem, because they're kind of going through the tag teams at CSW, so I don't, you know, they're kind of.
Who's next, baby?
Yeah, you know, so
surprise us, bookers at CSW.
That'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, main event of the evening comes up, which was a Final 4 Battle Royal, which included 20 wrestlers of the roster involved, which was just a chaos Battle Royal all over the place. Of course, you got your normals, which I don't have the list in front of me, but one of the ones that, of course, surprised us was John Riker coming out. You know,
right.
He cleaned house for a good little bit, and then Steve Fury come back.
The redneck Steve Fury.
One of the guys in the Battle Royal, redneck Steve Fury, which I've actually never seen him, but from what I see already, I'm going to like him. You know, he really come out there and kick some ass. The 4 contenders for the which the 4 left will get a shot at the CSW heavyweight title bout.
Now, was this like the Money in the Bank thing? Each guy gets an individual shot, or?
No, it's actually going to be a like a fatal 4-way for the.
So those 4 guys will battle it out, and then the winner will get a CSW title shot.
No, the winner will get the belt because
Cameron Frost vacated the belt.
Surrendered it up. So the winner of this, which the 4, Brian Cage, Doug Pitt, Billy Rays, and Scotty Rays. So, you know, this ought to be interesting because you got Scotty and Billy Rays that, you know, starting out in a 4-way match. Of course, they're going to work with each other until
absolutely.
and you would think that it's going to just end up being those 2 versus each other. So, ought to really be interesting to see how that goes and what pops up to elude what you would think that they would want to do.
Absolutely.
And of course, whoever wins it gets the CSW heavyweight title belt. But that was quite interesting. And right when this was over, you know, of course, Steve Fury came back out and just straight up told these guys, "Get your ass out of the ring. I got something to say." And he called out John Riker, which explained to this a little bit about Steve Fury was one of the original roster members when the promotion started.
Right. This was a rematch of the first heavyweight championship between Mr. Hardcore, John Riker, and Redneck Steve Fury. They battled for the first heavyweight championship in Mossy Head. I believe, I don't remember, and I've been drinking beer. I don't remember if it was HPW or UPW, but it was a match for the first heavyweight championship main event there in Mossy Head. And, you know, like I said, I was surprised as hell to see both guys, but mostly more surprised to see Redneck Steve Fury, who I've not seen in a couple years, you know. So these guys have a long-standing feud going on, so I'm real interested to see what happens between these 2 guys. I mean, you've got the physical, overpowering brutality of Mr. Hardcore John Riker, and then you've got the wild man, Redneck Steve Fury, you know, more of a wrestler compared to the brawling physicality of John Riker. So I'm really interested to see what happens at 10 Years of Mayhem. So,
well, you know, the fans got behind Steve Fury because when he came out, I'm like, who's this guy? And it didn't take but a matter of a half a second for the crowd to tell me who this guy was. They were cheering, you know, Redneck Steve Fury. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, if you haven't checked out the footage of this last match of the Battle Royal, towards the end of that match, it's actually all on one tape. Watch this chaos as it unfolds for these guys going at each other's throat, and you know, everybody was trying to say, you know, wait till, you know, to the 10 Years of Mayhem. Let's wait.
But they didn't want to wait.
They didn't want to wait. They kept going back at each other, and then basically when it comes down to it is, you know, the other guys on the roster had told him, you know, hey man, you've crossed the line. You need to go and get out of here. And finally he left, but he didn't want to leave. I mean, it was on the edge of your seat. Well, it wasn't even on the edge of your seat. It was you had to stand up or you were going to be mixed up in the middle of it.
I mean, because they were brawling all over the House of Hardcore. Bodies flying everywhere, chairs, you name it. These 2 men have a hatred for each other that's been brewing for, like I said, 10 years. They were the first main event for the first championship there in Mossy Head. So this feud is a long time coming. I'm really excited to see what CSW has planned for these 2 individuals. And you know, overall, I can say once again, it was a thoroughly enjoyable show at CSW.
You could feel it. I mean, I felt it. I know everybody else had to feel it. I mean, it gave me goosebumps. You know, the few people that came that haven't been there before, you know, the look on their face was like, is this for real?
I hear you.
Is this the wrestling? Is this part of the show, or is this real? Is it, you know?
Right.
It was awesome to see that. I mean, it literally gave me goosebumps. I got some really good footage, and man, I had a blast once again at CSW.
I hear you. Awesome. My favorite place to go to wrestling, and a lot of people, you know, the knock on CSW is, you know, too much hardcore, not enough wrestling, crappy little building, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line goes down, every wrestler on the Gulf Coast, the majority of them that's been there, that's holding belts, whether it's BTY, Colby Godwin, whether it's Cameron Frost, whether it's John Riker, whether it's Joe Gibson, you know, the list goes on and on and on and on. these guys, basically most of them got their start in CSW. You know, the little house, you know, like the little train that can do it. People have been trying to bury CSW for years, but they're the longest running promotion in this area. Do they have the biggest building? No. Do they got the best lights and ring and stuff? No. You know, do they always have the best talent there? No, but the one thing you can be guaranteed, and I give you my personal guarantee on this, if you go to a CSW show, you're going to have fun. It is the most fun wrestling promotion on the Gulf Coast, in my opinion. That's not a knock or a slide on anybody else, but you can have more fun at CSW. You can run wild a little more. You can let your hair hang down, you know. I mean, how many places are they going to go? The show starts, I rip off my shirt, shot me down there, shot me. Any other promotion, 5 security guards would have been beating my ass into a wet spot, you know. But CSW lets you have fun. They want the fan interaction. They want that up close and personal vibe going on, man. I urge all fans of all promotions, come around. Give CSW a shot, man. I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed.
That's right, and I agree. You know, carpool, whatever it takes to get there, definitely check it out. 10 Years of Mayhem show is basically similar like their anniversary show. You know, they've been around for 10 years, and it's a long time for a Gulf Coast wrestling promotion. There's a few matches lined up. One of the ones that we definitely know for sure, which is going to be Riker versus Fury. The 10 Years of Mayhem show is August 27th. That's a Saturday. Make your plans now to check it out. Talk to some of the other people. There's some APW fans that were at CSW this last show and checked it out. Talk to them, see what they get their opinion on it. Definitely check it out. You're not going to be disappointed in what you see when you get there. Get a hold of us on Facebook, on GulfCoastWrestling.com. All the posters are there to show you where it is, when it is, what time it is, how much it is. So
videos on FrontRowFanatics.com too. Between FrontRowFanatics.com and GulfCoastWrestling.com, we've got the video, we've got the information for all the shows coming up in this area in the Gulf Coast. Come on out. Give CSW a chance, man. You won't be disappointed. It's a hell of a good time.
Yes, that it is. Also, you know, don't forget to check out, speaking of Gulf Coast Wrestling, don't forget to check out Gulf Coast Wrestling. If you've been to GulfCoastWrestling.com and you've actually looked around, go ahead and make you a username and get you logged in there so that you can interact with everybody on there. And if you have a question regarding a show, post the question. You'll get an answer, whether it be from us or the promotion themselves. But don't just come and visit. Go ahead and make a username and get signed up so that you can interact with us and let us know what's happening. If we go to or if you go to a show that we don't go to, we want to know what's going on too. When we go to shows, we take the footage and so that we can put it out there for everybody to see. We would like the same. If we can't go, let us know what's going on, whether it be in a written review or put your videos up there. Let us know what's going on too. We appreciate that. So
because we want to keep Bob Liddell's tradition of promoting Gulf Coast independent wrestling alive at GulfCoastWrestling.com. Now, we don't have the anonymous bullshit, which a lot of that went on the old GulfCoastWrestling.com website. We don't want that. We want this site to promote indie wrestling in our area. We want the fans to come in here and talk about indie wrestling in the area. We don't want none of this petty bullshit. If you don't have the balls to put your name behind the comment when you're talking about somebody or promotion, stay the hell away. You know, that's my personal opinion. Anything I say, I will say to somebody's face, whether I say it here on a review, at a show, on the board, or whatever. You want to discuss wrestling, please sign up and discuss wrestling. You want to talk about your favorite wrestler, your favorite promotion, GulfCoastWrestling.com. Sign up, get your username. Let's make Gulf Coast Wrestling in this area something to be proud of, not the drizzling shits as it's been called for so long. You know, there's a lot of good talented guys out and girls out there busting their ass to entertain fans, and they're not getting enough recognition for this. So come on, people, get on the bandwagon. Let's promote wrestling along the Gulf Coast. GulfCoastWrestling.com is the place to be. Front Row Fanatics, we got videos, we've got reviews of the shows. Feel free. Come on, people. Let's support indie wrestling.
That's right. And right now is a good time because things are hot right now. So, you know, with the fans out there, when things are running like this, they need the fan support so it can continue to keep going like this instead of taking that drop down. Let's just keep that gradual flow going up of all the promotions doing well. Let's go ahead and do match of the night and runner-up from this show here. You want to go?
You can go first this time. I was first last time.
Believe it or not, my match of the night for me is going to go to Victor Crew and Death Control. I hate to say it, I didn't ever think I would, but it is what it is, man. It was a great match. One of the best, not one of, but the best Victor Crew matches I have ever seen. And then runner-up for me is, gosh, I got two people that, Brian Cage. Runner-up for me was Brian Cage and Street Bandit. I'm impressed with Street Bandit. I've never seen him. I know he's been around in other promotions, and I've heard he was good, and I got to finally see him, and I'd have to agree with what I've been hearing. And Brian Cage himself is getting better in the ring, and I really enjoyed that match as well. So two of the two people that are not on my favorites list were my matches of the evening on this one.
I hear you. For me, I'm going to go with my match tonight. I'm going to go to the tag team match with the Sin City Stakes and the Onyx. And I have a tough choice between this. For runner-up would either be Story of the Year Brian Cage and Street Bandit, or the last king of wrestling, Doug Pitt and T-Bird. So.
Yes. Yeah, that really was a good match too, and I may have kind of counted that out a little too quick, but that was an awesome match. That was a good pick. Pete, go ahead and give us your 2 cents on this, and I know you need that, you can grab that, but I know what you're going to pick.
Match of the night, Cage and Street Bandit. Runner-up is Crew and Death Control. Both awesome matches.
Sweet, sweet.
Good. Whoops. All right, and we got that out of the way. Let me just go ahead and mention a few dates that are coming up. I don't have them all, but I do have a few of them. On a Friday, we got 2 promotions running. August 5th, which is WIW, and actually running in Tallahassee that day. Not in Panama City where they normally do.
Right.
AWF Chipley is running on Friday, August 5th as well, which the location for that is again on GulfCoastWrestling.com. I don't want to lie to you, so I'm not going to tell you.
I believe that's the TJ Ruhlhock Rec Center, if I pronounce that correctly. That's usually where AWF runs when they run in Chipley. Once again, check out GulfCoastWrestling.com for all the pertinent information to that. And August 5th is my crazy ass brother Mookie's birthday. And to my brother, hey Mookie, fuck you and happy birthday.
Oh shit. Saturday, August 6th, the following day is Ultimate Wrestling at Pensacola at Ultimate Legion Post 33. That's right, I said Ultimate Legion Post 33.
And why? Because we can.
Saturday, August 13th, which is running on Saturday, New Heights Wrestling, where they normally run into Funiac Springs, and that is a 2-ring
30-man battle royal.
Which ought to be a pretty interesting show. If you're in the area, check that out. And of course, the second show of NWA Florida is running August 13th at the Boys and Girls Club in Panama City. If you're able to travel, or if you can work it out, definitely check this NWA out. And I don't want to over promote either one of these, because they're both going to be good quality shows.
Right.
We got our normal Gulf Coast NHW show, which is always a good show, and the NWA, which is going to be a little something out of the box for us, what we're used to. Should be some good quality wrestlers that you haven't seen before, and some that you have. Definitely check one of these 2 out. I believe we're going to try to go to NWA Florida in Panama City as of right now. And then of course, and there may be a few other shows in here that we don't have posters for, or just don't have the dates for yet, but again, GulfCoastWrestling.com. And Saturday, August 27th. Do whatever you got to do to make this show. This is going to be probably definitely CSW Show of the Year, 10 Years of Mayhem. It might even be Gulf Coast Wrestling Show of the Year at this point, when they get the card all worked out completely. But definitely check this show out, 10 Years of Mayhem. These guys put it on the line. They give it all they got, and it's definitely going to be worth checking out the House of Hardcore for the 10 Years of Mayhem. You got anything you want to add to that? I know you've been to probably 10 of these Mayhem shows.
Not quite all 10, but I've been to the majority of them, and I am a die-hard CSW Mossy Head House of Hardcore Wrestling fan. And if you haven't checked them out, this show would be the one to check out. Also I believe SXW is running a show in either Ozark or Dothan, I'm not sure, which former NWA World Heavyweight Champ Tommy Wildfire Rich is going to be at. So if you can't make it down here, check those guys out. But for me, 10 years of mayhem, baby. I'm going to be in the front row. I'll be drinking beer in the parking lot. I'll be screaming. I'll be hooting and hollering. I want people chopping the shit out of me. I want this place to go wild. Bring your ass to Mossy Head on the 27th. Show CSW some love. Let the mayhem begin. Let the bodies hit the floor. You name it. Blood, guts, violence, athletic competition. Woo! Let yourself run wild, baby. I'm all about some CSW.
That's right. I can't wait. It is unfortunately at the end of the month, but it'll be here quick before you know it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And NWA's coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun too. Why don't you mention some of the NWA cards so far, just to kind of throw a few names out.
Well, I know there's going to be the Heartbreak Express, Sean and Phil Davis, who've been FIP Tag Team Champions. They've been in Ring of Honor, facing the Mercenaries, which hold one of the NWA regional tag team belts. Nathan Crown against Justin Overstreet. Bordell Walker will be there. Michael Patrick. Chief Little Bear, Victor Crew, just to name a few. Now the full card has not been finalized there, but I'm really excited to see this NWA Gulf Coast NWA Florida show, bringing in some fresh faces. You know, it's running the same night as New Heights, which will have 30 of the Gulf Coast best guys there in a two-ring battle royal. But for me, I love all those guys, but I'm going to be at the NWA show because I want to see some fresh faces.
That's right, and you heard what he said, all you Crownaholics out there and APW fans.
That's right.
Crown's going to be at NWA in Panama City. So
bring your ass to Panama City, and if you ain't down with the Crown, get out of town, baby. That's all I got to say.
That's right. You got anything more?
Yeah, and for the good people at Ultimate Wrestling, you know, I myself will not be at the show there on the 6th. My close personal friend David Prine is getting married that day. I'll be at the wedding and celebrating with the newly wedded Mr. and Mrs. Prine running wild that night. So, but we will be back to see Ultimate Wrestling again. At least I will. So people get out there, support Ultimate Wrestling, support New Heights, support CSW, support NWA Florida, you know, you name it, SXW. Get out there, support independent wrestling on the Gulf Coast.
That's right. That's right. Support them all. These guys do a lot to their bodies to entertain us, so that's the least we can do is support them at doing what they do best. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I guess with that being said, we're going to get some more beer, and we'll see you in the front row, baby.